What if your emotions were not confined to your mind? What if every feeling you've ever had, joy, fear, love, anger, sent ripples through the very fabric of the universe? That might sound poetic, even mystical, but what if it's more than just metaphor? What if your emotions carry a measurable frequency, a vibration that not only affects your body, but the energetic field around you, a field that's constantly interacting with the quantum world? Let's pause here for a moment. You've probably heard phrases like raise your vibration or good energy attracts good things. But few ever stop to ask, what does that actually mean? Is it just spiritual slang, or could it be pointing toward a real, observable phenomenon, one that science is only beginning to understand? This is where our journey begins, not in the realm of belief, but in the bridge between emotion and physics. The challenge: we've been trained to dismiss feelings. We live in a world that glorifies logic and downplays emotion. From childhood, many of us were taught to calm down, stay rational, or not be so sensitive. Feelings became something to control or hide, not something to understand. But here's the irony: emotions might be the very language through which reality communicates with us. They could be signals from the deeper layers of our consciousness, translating invisible vibrations into felt experience. Modern neuroscience already tells us emotions are not random. They're biochemical feedback loops, electrochemical storms traveling through your nervous system, changing your heartbeat, temperature, and even the electromagnetic field of your heart. Now combine that with a simple fact: every electric pulse produces a magnetic field. That means every emotional state, every surge of joy or wave of fear isn't just chemistry, it's energy. A bridge between heart and field. Dr. Roland McCraty from the HeartMath Institute once described how the heart's electromagnetic field is thousands of times stronger than the brain's. It extends several feet beyond the body, measurable by modern instruments. When you feel gratitude or compassion, this field becomes coherent, stable, and ordered. When you're stressed or angry, it turns chaotic. Now think about that in quantum terms. Coherent energy interacts harmoniously with other systems. Chaotic energy disrupts. So maybe when you walk into a room and instantly feel the vibe, you're not imagining it. You're detecting subtle electromagnetic and quantum information, the emotional frequencies of others. And if this is true on a small scale, why wouldn't it scale up? Why wouldn't your consistent emotional patterns start influencing the probabilities and experiences that unfold around you? Frequency, the hidden architecture of reality. In physics, vibration isn't poetic language. It's the fundamental nature of existence. Everything from light to sound to matter itself is oscillation. Even the atoms in your body are vibrating at specific frequencies. So when you experience an emotion, you're not just feeling it, you're generating a distinct energetic signature that interacts with this universal field. Anger vibrates differently than joy. Fear has a lower frequency than love. But these aren't moral hierarchies, they're informational patterns. Each emotion carries its own kind of data, shaping what your consciousness perceives and attracts. It's similar to tuning a radio. You don't create the song by turning the dial, the song already exists. You simply match your receiver to the frequency where that music is playing. Likewise, your emotional frequency determines which station of reality you tune into. You might think this sounds abstract, but you experience it daily. Ever notice how when you wake up irritated, the day seems to hand you more reasons to stay irritated? Or when you're deeply grateful, small blessings seem to multiply out of nowhere? That's emotional frequency at work. It's your inner state selecting which patterns of reality you interact with most easily. The hidden power in every feeling. Here's the fascinating paradox. Emotions are both biological and non-local. They arise from within, but their influence may extend beyond you. When researchers studied group meditations, where people intentionally generated compassion, They found measurable decreases in local crime rates and increases in collective well-being indicators. Skeptics can argue causation, but something about synchronized emotion seems to ripple outward. Even at the level of quantum physics, particles separated by vast distances behave as if they're connected, a phenomenon known as entanglement. So perhaps emotions are not confined within the skull or skin. Perhaps they are part of a shared energetic network, one vast emotional ecosystem where your internal state quietly affects the collective field. This isn't an invitation to believe blindly. It's an invitation to observe, from awareness to experiment. Try this. The next time you enter a conversation, instead of preparing words, adjust your feeling. If you sense tension, breathe deeply and imagine your chest softening. Focus on appreciation for the other person, not their words, but their humanity. Notice how the conversation shifts, almost imperceptibly at first, as if invisible threads realign between you. That's not magic. That's emotional energy changing the field of communication. Or when you feel anxious before an important decision, place your hand over your heart. Slow your breathing until it matches a calm rhythm. Think of a moment when you felt safe, loved, or peaceful. Let that emotion fill your awareness. Watch how your body relaxes, your thoughts clear, and your decisions sharpen. You didn't solve the emotion, you transformed its vibration. You shifted the frequency of your own field. Why this matters? Because most people live as if emotions are random weather, uncontrollable storms that come and go. But what if emotions are actually instruments, each one capable of tuning your connection to reality? Then mastering your emotional state becomes the art of living consciously. You don't need to fake constant positivity. You only need to understand that emotions are data and that every frequency holds potential. Even sadness can carry wisdom when approached with awareness. Anger can fuel transformation when grounded in clarity. The question is not, how do I stop feeling this? The question is, what is this emotion trying to align me with? A new lens. When you see emotion, not as weakness, but as quantum feedback, you begin to play life differently. You realize that every sigh, every tear, every smile, every heartbeat, it's all communication with the unseen layers of existence. You're not just reacting to life, you're in constant dialogue with it. And in that realization, something extraordinary happens. You start to sense that your feelings are creative tools, not consequences. You begin to sense that the universe is listening not to your words, but to your vibration. So tonight, when you feel something deeply, whether joy, peace, or even sorrow, don't rush to label it as good or bad. Pause. Feel its texture. Ask yourself quietly, what frequency am I tuning into right now? And what reality might it be shaping for me? Your answer may be subtle, but in that awareness lies the beginning of mastery. Because emotions aren't just storms to survive. They're signals of creation, waiting to be understood. The science of subtle fields, how resonance works. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt something before a single word was spoken? Maybe the air felt heavy or strangely calm. Maybe two people were smiling, yet something in you whispered, something's off. That moment, that intuitive knowing isn't random. It's the invisible exchange of information between your emotional field and the fields of others. You are not just a body in space. You are an electromagnetic system, constantly broadcasting and receiving frequencies. To understand emotional resonance, we must first understand this. You are a field within a field. Everything vibrates. Let's go back to a fundamental truth of physics. Everything vibrates. From the tiniest electron to the largest galaxy, all matter is in constant motion. This is not a metaphor, it's measurable. Now, vibrations don't exist in isolation. When one frequency encounters another, they interact. Some amplify each other, that's called resonance. Others interfere and cancel each other out, that's dissonance. Think of two tuning forks. Strike one, and the other begins to hum in sympathy, even though you never touched it. The vibration of one transfers energy through the air and activates the other, not by force, but by harmony. Your emotions work the same way. When you feel calm, grateful, or joyful, your body emits coherent signals, smooth, stable waves. When you feel fear or anger, those waves become jagged and erratic. And these emotional frequencies are not private. They ripple through your biofield, an invisible electromagnetic space surrounding and interpenetrating your body. That field is like a broadcasting station, continuously sending out emotional signals into the quantum web that connects all things, the science of subtle energy. This might sound mystical, but research is starting to map these subtle interactions. For instance, studies on biophotons, ultra-weak light particles emitted by living cells, reveal that your body literally glows. Scientists have observed that the emission rate of these photons changes with emotional states and biological rhythms. When people experience calm coherence, these light emissions become synchronized, almost rhythmic. Under stress, the light becomes erratic. In a sense, your body is continuously broadcasting a luminous language, one that's far more ancient and universal than words. Some researchers even suggest that this biophotonic communication could be how your cells talk across distances, orchestrating your physical and emotional health in ways not yet fully understood. So, when we talk about emotional resonance, it isn't a fantasy. It may be the subtle electromagnetic and photonic conversation of your being with the larger quantum field, the invisible sea of vibration that everything swims in. How resonance shapes experience. If your emotional frequency is information, then the universe which responds to vibration is always listening. Think about two guitars in the same room. Pluck the string on one, and the same string on the other begins to vibrate, even though you never touched it. Why? Because they share a matching frequency. In the same way, when your dominant emotional state holds a consistent pattern like peace, gratitude, or fear, it attracts experiences that match that vibration. Not because you manifested it by wishful thinking, but because resonance is a law of nature. Frequencies seek alignment. This doesn't mean you're guilty of every hardship or responsible for every challenge. It simply means that your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and intentions act as tuning forks, influencing the probabilities that unfold around you. That's why two people can stand in the same situation, and one sees chaos, while the other finds opportunity. Their frequencies, not their environments, define their experiences. The language of the heart. Among all the frequencies you emit, the heart signal is the most powerful. Electrophysiological research shows that your heart generates an electromagnetic field that can be detected several feet away. This field is not static. It carries patterns corresponding to your emotional state. When you feel love, compassion, or gratitude, the rhythm of your heartbeat becomes smooth and ordered, what scientists call heart coherence. In this state, your brain, nervous system, and emotions work in synchrony. You feel balanced, centered, clear. But when you're anxious or angry, that rhythm becomes erratic, like static in a signal. You might think you're thinking clearly, but your whole system is out of tune. That's why the ancients placed such emphasis on the heart as the seat of wisdom. It's not just poetry, it's physics. The heart's coherence creates harmony not only within your body, but also in the space around you, influencing others through subtle energetic resonance. The mirror of the field. Now, here's where it gets truly fascinating. The field around you doesn't judge, it reflects. It mirrors the frequency you carry. If you emit fear, you tend to encounter more reasons to confirm that fear. If you cultivate peace, you begin noticing peace even in chaos. The field acts like a living mirror, one that responds not to what you want, but to what you are vibrating. This is why transformation begins with emotion, not intellect. You can read affirmations all day, but if your emotional state contradicts your words, the field will respond to the emotion, not the sentence. Words are surface waves. Emotions are the ocean beneath them. Practical understanding, shifting your field. Let's ground this with something tangible. Start noticing patterns. Throughout the day, notice what emotional frequency you return to most often. Is it calm, worry, irritation, or joy? Don't judge it, just observe it. Awareness is the first step in tuning your own field. Use the breath as a bridge. Breathing slowly and rhythmically through your heart area for a minute or two begins to create coherence. This isn't mystical, it's measurable. Your heartbeat synchronizes, your brain waves stabilize, and your emotional field softens. Generate emotion by choice. Think of something you genuinely appreciate. It could be a person, a memory, or even the taste of your favorite meal. Feel that appreciation for just 60 seconds. You've now shifted your entire electromagnetic field, not metaphorically, but measurably. Over time, consistent practice builds emotional muscle. You begin to feel less like a victim of moods and more like a conscious conductor of energy. A subtle experiment. Here's something you can test for yourself. The next time you're in public, hold a calm, loving state silently in your body. Don't smile excessively or do anything outward. Just sit quietly, breathing through your heart, imagining your chest radiating warmth. Notice how people respond. Someone might glance and smile at you for no reason. The atmosphere may feel lighter. Even animals tend to approach calm, coherent energy. No words are exchanged, yet everything changes. That's resonance. You don't influence others by argument. You influence through frequency. The hidden feedback loop. Every emotion you send into the field eventually circles back. Not as punishment or reward, but as resonance. If you continually broadcast anger, life mirrors it. If you continually broadcast gratitude, you attract experiences that amplify it. That's why emotional mastery is not about denial. It's about conscious participation in the energy exchange that is always happening. When you understand resonance, you stop fighting emotion and start working with it. You begin to use feeling as feedback, a real-time signal of alignment or distortion between your inner and outer world. So ask yourself tonight, what vibration am I sending out when I'm not paying attention? Because that background emotion that hum beneath your thoughts is the real signal shaping your life. The universe may not speak your language, but it listens to your frequency, and every moment offers a choice to transmit chaos or coherence, resistance or openness, fear or love. You don't need to perfect it, you only need to notice it, because awareness itself begins to shift the wave. Your emotional blueprint, shaping reality. How some people seem to carry a certain aura. The ones who walk into a room and suddenly the atmosphere changes, not because of what they say, but because of what they emit. It's not charisma alone, it's coherence. Their emotional field is aligned, steady and alive. Here's the thing, you have that field too. You always have. But for most people, it's running on autopilot, broadcasting whatever emotional patterns have become habitual. That autopilot is what we'll call your emotional blueprint. It's the energetic map that quietly shapes the kinds of people you attract, the experiences that repeat, and even the opportunities that seem to find you. And like any map, it can be rewritten once you understand how it's drawn. The hidden code of experience. Think about your daily emotions as a playlist your subconscious keeps replaying. Most of us wake up and instantly tune into a familiar frequency: stress about work, worry about the future, or dull repetition of yesterday's feelings. And the field, loyal as always, responds, "Oh, that's the song you want to hear today." Sure. The result? Similar events, similar reactions, similar outcomes. It's not fate. It's frequency memory, the emotional loops your body and mind have rehearsed for years. Every time you feel and react in the same way, those emotions become neural grooves, just like a well-worn trail in a forest. Your body begins to predict emotion before the event even happens. That's why you can wake up anxious. Without a single external reason, your emotional body is simply running the old code. The physics of emotional repetition. From a quantum perspective, every repeated emotional state strengthens a specific energetic pattern in your field. It's as though the universe keeps seeing the same wave coming from you and starts reflecting similar experiences to match it. Fear keeps drawing fear. Joy amplifies joy. Gratitude opens new probabilities. This isn't superstition, it's resonance in action. The field doesn't discriminate between good or bad. It simply matches patterns. So when you wonder why certain experiences keep recurring, the same types of people, conflicts, or disappointments, it's not random. It's your emotional blueprint, replaying a familiar signal, waiting for you to update it. Conscious rewriting. So how do you rewrite an energetic pattern that's been running for years? Not through willpower, and not by pretending to be positive. You do it by learning to feel differently on purpose. Let's break this into steps that are subtle but practical. Recognition. The moment you catch yourself in a familiar emotional storm, frustration, guilt, or anxiety, pause. Don't suppress it, identify it. Labeling emotion actually softens its grip on the nervous system. Regulation. Bring attention to your breath. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Exhale slowly through the mouth for 6. This simple rhythm resets the heart's coherence and begins to shift your energetic frequency. Replacement. Choose a new emotional tone, not just a new thought. Think of someone or something that evokes genuine appreciation or calm. Hold that feeling gently. You're not forcing your tuning. Each time you do this, you carve a new energetic pathway. You're training your emotional body to broadcast a different frequency, one that will eventually rewrite the experiences you attract. The quantum mirror. Life reflects you like a mirror, but not instantly. The reflection lags, like light traveling from a distant star. That's why change can feel slow. You shift your emotion today, but your outer world might take time to rearrange. Patience is key. The quantum field responds not to a passing feeling, but to your consistent frequency, the tone you hold most often. So persistence matters more than perfection. The more often you return to a state of calm, gratitude, or trust, the more your external reality begins to reorganize around those vibrations. You start meeting people who match that energy. Circumstances open up in ways that align with your new pattern. Eventually, you realize that manifestation isn't about getting what you want. It's about becoming the frequency that makes what you want inevitable. Transmutation, turning lead into light. Now, let's talk about something deeper: emotional alchemy. Every emotion, even the ones we label negative, carries potential energy. Anger is raw power, waiting for direction. Sadness is sensitivity seeking expression. Fear is awareness, amplified to protect life. If you suppress them, they stagnate, becoming dense energy in your field. But if you sit with them consciously, breathe through them, and ask, what is this energy trying to become? They start to transmute. Anger becomes courage. Sadness becomes compassion. Fear becomes intuition. It's the same energy, just vibrating differently. So the goal is not to get rid of emotional darkness, but to refine it, to pass it through the fire of awareness until it becomes clarity. That's real emotional mastery. Emotional blueprint in practice. Let's imagine 2 people, Eva and Harry. Eva wakes up every morning feeling hurried, checking messages before she even breathes fully. Her emotional baseline is tension. Throughout the day, she keeps meeting delays, conflicts, and minor frustrations, all confirming her belief that life is chaotic. Harry, on the other hand, takes 2 minutes each morning to breathe quietly, placing his hand on his chest, feeling gratitude for waking up. His external world isn't perfect, but his inner state stays calm. Over time, things seem to work out more easily for him. People cooperate, timing feels smoother, and he feels lucky. What's the difference? Not circumstance, frequency. Both live under the same laws of physics, but their emotional fields interact with reality differently. You might say, that's just coincidence. And maybe it is until you experience it yourself. Because the moment you consciously sustain a higher emotional vibration for even a few days, subtle synchronicities begin to appear. Calls at the right time, gentle resolutions to old problems, a sense of life flowing with you instead of against you. That's the field responding to your new signal. The collective effect. Now imagine millions of people doing this consciously, not by preaching positivity, but by quietly mastering their own emotional states. What would change? Maybe wars would become harder to sustain, because collective coherence would reject that level of dissonance. Maybe communities would feel safer, not through enforcement, but through energetic alignment. It might sound idealistic, but research on group meditation and collective intention keeps hinting at measurable shifts in local energy and social harmony. If resonance works individually, it must work collectively too. Humanity's emotional blueprint could evolve not by external revolution, but by internal retuning. Bringing it home. Let's bring this back to you sitting here, reading or listening right now. Your emotional blueprint isn't fixed. Every breath you take, every conscious feeling you choose, updates it. You are literally sculpting your energetic architecture with every heartbeat. So here's a small daily ritual to begin integrating this understanding. Morning alignment. Before checking your phone, close your eyes and feel gratitude for something simple, the warmth of the bed, the rhythm of your breath. Hold that feeling for 60 seconds. Midday reset. When stress builds, pause for 3 conscious breaths. Imagine exhaling static and inhaling golden light through your heart. It sounds symbolic, but your nervous system responds as if it's real. Evening reflection. Before sleeping, recall one moment of peace or joy from the day. Let it replay in your mind and feel it again. This anchors your subconscious in a higher emotional frequency overnight. Do this for 21 days. Don't try to control outcomes. Just observe how your inner and outer worlds begin to shift subtly at first, then unmistakably. The quantum leap. And this brings us to the leap itself, the quantum leap of emotional resonance. It's not about moving faster or trying harder. It's about recognizing that every moment you feel consciously, you've already entered a new dimension of influence. Because at the quantum level, observation changes reality, and emotion is the most powerful form of observation. It's your consciousness made magnetic. When you align thought with genuine feeling, you send a coherent signal into the fabric of existence, and the field responds. Not instantly, but inevitably. That's the quiet miracle of being human. You are both the receiver and the transmitter, both the note and the song, both the wave and the ocean. So as this journey closes, pause for a question only you can answer. What emotional frequency do I want my life to echo? Whatever your answer is, peace, love, purpose, freedom, begin feeling it now. Not as wishful thinking, but as your natural vibration. Because reality doesn't wait for the future, it tunes to your present. And your present emotion is the signal that writes tomorrow's script. Remember, you are not reacting to the world. You are composing it, one feeling at a time.